Welcome to Invincible Teams, a podcast for team leaders and business owners who are tired of dealing with office drama and politics, high turnover, and teams not meeting their potential. We know that team leaders and business owners like you are pretty much always under pressure to get the most out of your teams. And we also know that most teams only operate at about 58% of their actual potential, and we've got the tools and training to make that number keep going up. We believe that every team should reach their potential, and that if we get intentional, our teams can become invincible. Well, I would say welcome back to another Enneagram podcast, but that is no longer who we are, right? We're done with that.
Different.
We're done.
Throwing it out.
It's over. We're done. We quit. No, we're not quitting. But things are changing, obviously, right? We got some new artwork. We got a new intro. It's new. We're ripping out the old and installing some new furniture, some new cabinets. You know, it's a whole new show.
Yeah, palette walls, retro wallpaper. We're doing it all,
dude. Palette walls. I have a palette wall in my living room that I did that always gets compliments, and I'm mad about it. Because it was so much more difficult than I anticipated it being.
Yes.
It was terrible. And it was because I literally ripped apart pallets to get the wood. If I ever do it again, I'm just going to go buy the wood. But I was too cheap, and I literally ripped pallets apart, and it was horrible. It took me 8 hours to do one wall.
Wow.
It was terrible. It's terrible.
But it's an actual pallet wall, though.
It's a real pallet wall made from real pallets. Yeah. Yeah. But that's not why we're here. We're talking about the changing times here, where another Enneagram podcast is out, and now we've got the Invincible Teams podcast. So we wanted to jump on and let people know about that and what we're doing different and what they can expect in the coming weeks and months as Invincible Teams, gets delivered to their podcast players of choice.
Yeah. So I think this is the question everybody's wanting to know, Ryan. Why are we changing from another Enneagram podcast to Invincible Teams?
That was super believable, by the way. The questions that everybody wants to know, as if most of them knew that we were doing this, and your inbox has been flooded with these questions, right?
Yes. Yeah. Everybody. Yeah.
They just had a sense that this was coming.
They saw it in their inbox and they said, man, I wonder why they're doing this. That's probably the first thing.
Well, regardless of if your inbox actually got flooded with the question, it's a great one to start with. And there's a few reasons why whenever I decided I want to make this change, the biggest things are that I want our podcast to serve team leaders and business owners, right? Which another Enneagram podcast was great. We had fun with that. And we got listens from a lot of Enneagram enthusiasts, which was awesome. But really the whole heartbeat here has been to serve team leaders and business owners. And so we're re-gearing things, rebranding things to make that more clear so that it serves the right people. We also, we think Enneagram's great, but there's a lot more out there that we can talk about, different tools and resources and things that can help teams. And then the other thing, which we mentioned in the intro, is that we know there's a lot of pressure on leaders, right, to get their teams to perform as much as they can. And honestly, we have a lot of tools that can help, but they're not all Enneagram based. And so by kind of broadening the scope a little bit, we think we can bring you more and better content that can help your teams to actually thrive and reach their potential like we talk about.
Awesome, man. Sounds great. So my next question, with kind of introducing these other tools and things like you're talking about, are we going to be talking about the Enneagram at all anymore?
Well, yeah. You and I, both of us are obviously big Enneagram enthusiasts, and we still work with a lot of people who love to use the Enneagram. And so, yeah, definitely. It's a phenomenal tool that I think can help a lot of teams in a lot of different ways. And so we're going to continue to talk about it probably regularly. But we're also going to be talking about some other tools, addressing other pain points that we may not have done before. So no worries, Enneagram enthusiasts, it's not going anywhere. You just might get to listen to some other stuff too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it kind of feels like we're adding maybe some extra seats at the table. We got a few more things laid out on the spread. So answer this, you kind of hit it earlier, but who is this podcast for?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, just to be crystal clear on that, this podcast is 100% for team leaders and business owners. Really, anybody that has to deal with managing people is going to get something really great out of this podcast. Now, other people can definitely listen in and probably gain something, but those are the people that we're really going to try to speak to on this podcast.
Love it. And then in our intro, we talk about this idea that we want every team to reach their potential. And if we get intentional, then our teams can become invincible. So let me ask you this. What is the first step if a team wants to reach their potential and become invincible? What do they do? What's that first step?
And I think the first step, if that's what you want for your team, the first step is to know yourself, right? You can't lead others until you can lead yourself really well. And you can't lead yourself until you really, really know yourself. Otherwise, you got that expression. It's like the blind leading the blind. Right. And so on this first episode of Invincible Teams, I want to give everybody that's listening a tool specifically for that. And it's called Know Yourself to Lead Yourself. It's a short video / visual lesson that I want to give people access to on a platform of our friends called Giant Worldwide. And so I'm going to put the link for that in the show notes. And when you click on it, you'll have to create an account, but it's one of those free forever kind of things. And so go in there, set up an account. They have so much great content, but this one specifically is called Know Yourself to Lead Yourself. And it's the right place to start if you want to have an invincible team. Because like I said before, you can't lead others till you can lead yourself, and you can't lead yourself until you know yourself.
Yeah, I love it. And I feel like for so many leaders, there's like just, a billion leadership books out there. And so many of us, I feel like we read those books and then we spend all of our time trying to become, the Andy Stanleys and the Craig Rochelle's and the Seth Godins and like all these guys. But we actually have something inside of each of us, right? That we have skills to be leaders, and we're not supposed to be like them. We're supposed to be like lead in the capacity and context that we have. And so, yeah, man, I think this is awesome. I love the content. I love the direction of where we're headed.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. And hopefully some people will tune back in for the next episode. I know we've already got that one queued up and ready to go. And let us know what you think of everything, of the new brand, new direction. And we'll be talking to you soon.
See ya.
Thanks for listening today to the Invincible Teams podcast. We'd like to challenge you now to go share this episode with a team leader or business owner that might like it. And just like every podcast, we appreciate all the subscribes, likes, shares, reviews, and 5-star ratings you can give us. And like we always say, we believe that every team should reach their potential, and that if we get intentional, our teams can become invincible. See you next time.